Hello, hello.
Hey man, how's it going?
Good, thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah? Nice. How you doing?
I mean, I don't sleep much, so I've been up talking to you all night. You entertain me, man.
Thank you.
How are the Canary Islands? Oh wait, no, that's not you. Yeah, I was talking to someone else last night. They're in the Canary Islands, but they're also from the UK. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like the Canary Islands. Yeah, I used to go to Tenerife quite a lot.
I've never been, but I heard the winds are brutal, especially outside.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one place called Fuerteventura.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that's literally the translation in Spanish is like Windy Island, I think. I think that's what I've been told. So yeah. And Lanzarote as well is the same.
Yeah, I don't ever want to do that Ironman there. I'm
Yeah.
good. Not to mention, I mean, I live in Atlanta. You know, it's the U.S.'s largest airport. Man,
Yeah.
that's a few flights to get to Lanzarote, and I don't want to travel that much. That's too much airtime.
Yeah, it's an interesting place, Lanzarote. Though I actually really enjoyed it when I went there. It's like it's very volcanic, but I found it very peaceful.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the solitude of an island can do that for you.
Yeah, true. Very true.
So, man, I guess the most logical place is to take it from the top. Where did you start to get into this world? Were you a photographer doing other stuff before you broke into sports?
So I was a swimming coach. I was an athlete for like 21 years. Not athlete for 21 years, but I been in the sporting world for 21 years as an athlete and then as a swimming coach. So I had photography in the background, doing it as a hobby. And after all the lockdowns and kind of like a restructuring in my job, I kind of was like thinking about my own work-life balance. And I've got a young family now. I've got a nearly two-year-old daughter, and she's only young once. So I was like, what can give me a better work-life balance? And I just was like, one day I was like, I'm just going to take this full time and see where it takes me. So yeah.
You're at least getting paid now, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like obviously before I was just doing things, just going out pretty much and just doing my own shoots and stuff like that. Obviously you need to try and when you go full time, it's like now I need to try and actually get some money off people, which is a challenge, right? But at the same time, it's like
No, all right. So
it just rewards what you do, I suppose.
You know, I know a lot of pro triathletes and pro track stars, and I know a couple of photographers that are, well, first of all, they're not making the money; they're still doing it pro bono.
Yeah.
But when you say you wanted a change for a work-life balance, what I know from the people I know in the sports and the photographers, I don't know if it's a work-life balance. It's different than working your corporate 8 to 5 job.
Yeah.
But you have to travel for some weekends or a week or so. You're away from home. So would you say it's a different challenge rather than your just casual job?
I suppose the main thing is that I'm working for myself now. I'm not working for someone else. And I got the flexibility there to take what take the work that I get through my email or phone calls. So I have that flexibility now to say yes or no to things and spend that time with family. Yeah, I know there's the weekends and obviously with sports photography, which is kind of what I've fallen into a bit more now. Weekends, yeah, that's when most events happen. But like during the week, I'm with my family. So it's nice. Whereas before I'd be like some days of swim coaching, it's like you could be away for a whole month. And I know something like, if I get to work on something like the Tour de France or something, that's like 3 weeks away or whatever. It's completely different for sure. And I think, yeah, just working for myself is nice. You don't have that stress of someone above you looking down and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, it's
Except
nice
for my
not having a
wife.
fucking boss. I don't have one either.
Yeah, it's
Man,
nice.
it's nice answering to no one. Well, you have to answer to your wife, but I don't have one of those, so I don't have to answer to anyone. But
I prefer that sometimes.
working for yourself has an inherent freedom to it. You know, there really are no rules, and you make it up as you go. Which I also have the same thing, and it's very liberating.
Definitely. I think that's like you're saying, is I was saying it's the nicest thing is just having that flexibility. I think the one thing, obviously, with doing a lot more paid work now, I don't do as much of the stuff that I enjoy more with photography, I suppose, and that's like going out in the mornings or the evenings and doing like astrophotography or stuff like that. Like that kind of stuff is kind of if I've got the time to now, rather than like this evening's free, I'll go do that, rather than either sitting in front of a computer and editing or just taking a break.
So what kinds of, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
That's right. I was finished.
Huh. So what type of limitations do you put on your range in what you're willing to travel to do a shoot?
To be honest, I travel anyway, like sports, you could be doing an event, like I was saying earlier, like Tour de France, like I need to go to France. I can't stay here in the UK. I would travel anyway. Like, I love traveling as well myself. And if I take my camera somewhere, that's an amazing thing to do. I actually went to the university in the States, did some stuff whilst I was out there as well, whilst I was still swimming. Hawaii.
Wow, man.
That's quickest 3.5 years of my life.
Man, it was paradise.
Yeah. You're crazy. But like, I would travel anywhere, if it's working with a team or an individual athlete, you need to go to these places. But I love traveling. Like I said, I've lived in Hawaii, lived in Singapore. I just love being abroad.
Well, man, you're pretty well traveled.
Yeah. I suppose it's just like exploring. It's like the sense of being able to, like I say, see the world, see how different cultures manifest, and just get a sense of how things work in the world, I suppose.
So I don't know if you knew I was going to ask this, but being from the UK, how has Brexit affected travel for work?
At the moment, I haven't had a struggle with it because I've only been abroad to Europe a couple of times. I know a few people that either run YouTube channels where they're and they are cyclists, I suppose. They're like literally always abroad. I think they have to try and like apply for like a work permit to work there more than, I think it's like you're only allowed to be abroad like 90 days in every 6 months, I think it is. So like 180 days in the year you're allowed to be in Europe for, which is not much if you're like covering tours, going on training camps, that kind of stuff. So I haven't had that limitation confront me yet, I suppose, but I'm sure for a lot of people and for myself, if I start working abroad a bit more, it would start to hurt a little bit. And I'm not really sure what the visa process is, but it's, for me at the moment, it's not too bad. I can still travel. I'm not traveling enough for it to affect me.
What is your opinion on Brexit? Were you for or against it?
I was against it. I haven't got a strong opinion on it all, I just knew it would be a lot easier to stay in Europe. And obviously now you can see the reasons why. But I didn't really have strong opinions. I suppose I had stronger views on like against being for Brexit. Like I think it was all just a big con, really, and a lot of people fell for it. So
don't worry, dude. I just had 4 years of a fucking con artist in the States.
Oh, really?
So I get you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, across the pond, I mean, I don't know the inner workings or all details. I just know cursory glance. It didn't seem like a good deal, you know?
No. Funnily enough, the person that was for it the most is the person that's still in charge for a few more months. And yeah, he got it through and what have you, but it's not helped us as a country at all at the moment. So never mind. It's one of those things you don't have any control over.
Yeah, I understand that. So, man, what are you working on at the present?
The last few weeks and months have been a bit more spending time with family, taking a bit of a break. It's coincided with not as much work coming in. There's a few things that are in the pipeline. So I'm potentially working with a team at the Tour of Britain in September. And then around that, I still photograph weddings, and I do some work with a pro triathlete in Harry Palmer. So I keep myself busy, but at the same time, it's nice to spend some time with family and just have some time off and refresh.
Yeah, that's nice, man. You know, I mean, my family, you know, my immediate family is 800 miles away, 4 states away. So that's a nice luxury for you to have.
Yeah, it's nice. I suppose, what was I going to say? It's my family is quite far away, and I always find that a challenge, especially with a young family, to just for them to always see us. I suppose that's the hardest thing. So I know how you feel. It was just nice, even just with my wife and my kid, just to get away with some friends.
Do you travel to photo shoots with your family, or is it just you?
I've never traveled with them. No, not for shoots. Yeah, I couldn't imagine how that would work. I think I might have the first experience of that either this weekend or next week. It just depends on when it's happening. But there's a guy that I know who lives in Australia, and he's looking to do the 7 Oceans Challenge. So there's like 7 channel crossings. I think one of them's actually in the US. I think it's from an island in Mexico, and then he swims across to...
It's in California. It's the Catalina Island channel.
That's the one, yeah.
So it's like 30 miles long.
Yeah, it's mad. Sharks, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, he's doing that one, and then 6 others, and one of them's the English Channel. So he's swimming this weekend. It just depends on the weather, I suppose, but he's potentially doing that. And then there's a chance that if it happens, I'm actually down that way anyway. That if it happens whilst I'm down there, then I'm going to jump on the boat and try and do some photos for him. So
yeah, I mean, with the English Channel, you can't control the weather.
No.
Have you seen the movie Snatch?
Yes.
Okay. Don't take offense to this. Favorite line from Snatch is when the dude's walking out in the street and he's like, England, bad food, worse weather. That's my favorite line out of the movie.
We don't actually have any like English heritage food left apart from like a roast dinner. I mean, there was one video I watched where one guy was like, you know, we drive German cars, we use American computers, you know. It's just like nothing in this country anymore is actually British made or like traditional.
Yeah, Jaguar is even British.
We just got the history, you know.
Well, hey man, I'm gonna get you out of here on this one. What's your future? What do you want to do with your photography business? Hopes, dreams, aspirations, business plan. Give me the details.
So I'm quite young into business. I'm like 8 months in. Really enjoying it. I think the world is my oyster really with what I want to do. My dream is to one day work on like a world tour cycling. if that's Tour de France and ending up on the Champs-Elysees one day, you know, like I'd love to do that. Work at the Olympics, do all the top end sports, work with some really top athletes. You know, that's my dream. And a lot of that just comes with, you know, the chance to actually work at that top end is just by taking the opportunities as they come, get the experience. You know, I doubt that will, you know, the opportunity of working on Tour de France will happen like in the next year or so. So like I'll be slowly building myself up to like working from local races to national races. And then, you know, I mean, luckily there's a team that want to pick me up for this year's Tour of Britain. But it's just getting myself in there, getting myself known, and then, you know, hoping something lands in my mailbox and running with that. But it's I suppose at the moment it's completely an unknown. You know, it's something that has always been a hobby, and you know, I wanted to turn it full time, but that opportunity never came about. So now it's actually here. It's just about making the most of it. And you know, when I first started, it was just I was open to do any genre, but I think having been a former athlete myself, I kind of got that eye for knowing what athletes want or look out for with photos. And then I've got like a sense of, you know, for example, I went to National Hill Climbing Championships for cycling in November last year, and I kind of knew where to situate myself on this climb, knowing how they would be feeling at that point of the race or their effort. So I knew like being not quite at the finish line, but being somewhere close where they're pushing really hard, I knew that that would get the best shots because there's just pure emotion. So it's just, I love sport. Every time I go to the US, sport is always on the TV, and I'm just hooked by anything like mini league baseball. If it's on, I will follow it. So just
God, baseball sucks, man. I can't do it. I just can't. I can't even sit at a game. Like I'm sober now, but man, there was not enough beer that I could drink to pass the time. It is just, I fucking hate baseball.
I suppose for English people, it's like a faster version of cricket. So I suppose if anything is faster than cricket, it's worth watching. So hey, man. I don't mind baseball.
Hey, you know, thanks for sharing me. You know, I wish you luck. Thanks for joining me this afternoon, your time. And I'm glad we could pull this together so quick.
Yeah. Is there anything like, I'd love to know more about yourself and what your background is. I know obviously you've had a pretty traumatic experience. You know, how does that?
And I would be glad to tell you, but give me 2 seconds. I got to get batteries for my mouse.
Technology, hey?
You know, they die quicker because I use rechargeable batteries, but I use my computer to design stuff so often, it's just cheaper. So, man, the tale goes, 2014, I did my first triathlon, and I was hooked. So I did a shitload of 70.3s, a couple Ironmans. September 2017, I finally got an Ironman that didn't have the swim canceled or I didn't get DQ'd. You know, I'm like, okay, I can retire. I got my white whale. 10 days later, I was doing off-season miles. I decided to bike commute to work. Clear across Atlanta. It's a 15-mile ride, 15-mile back. I did it my first day. By the way, I went on my health insurance October 1st. I got hit by a large SUV. He was going about 50 miles an hour on October 5th.
Oh.
You know, you got the UK, so you got the NHS.
Yeah.
I want what you got, you know. But yeah, so
lucky that you had that before the incident.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, you know, I couldn't go back to my career as an architect.
Yeah.
I was pretty much incompetent. You know, the interns who were sophomores in college were doing better than I was, and I had 10 years on the job.
Yeah.
And you know, this YouTube channel and the writing website, it gives me experience.
Yeah.
Because I'm a one-trick pony. Everybody looks at my resume and they just see, well, he's just an architect.
Yeah.
Well, I had to do something. So with the brain injury, I lost a lot of skills, and some of them were just God-given talents. Like my sense of perception and the ability to read the room and work a crowd and speak in public, man, that was a gift. And it just didn't come back.
Yeah.
And I miss it. And sometimes, you know, I don't know if I told you, but when you wake up in the morning, your brain's firing on all 8 cylinders. And 99 times out of 100, mine's only firing on 4. Yeah. But, you know, that one time, I catch a glimpse of the person I used to be. And it feels good, but it just doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's nice to have you know, to look back into the past, but I have to focus on the future and build something because I'm on disability now. The YouTube channel, this stuff, I got to build myself an alternative resume to get a different job. Because when I got fired 4 times because I was fucking incompetent. I couldn't do the job anymore, you know? And I went through a really difficult time with my ex-fiance. She abandoned me, verbal and emotional abuse. And when you had a brain injury, you don't know how to make sense of any of it.
Yeah, sure.
You're just thinking, why does someone I love, and that's my soulmate, why are they doing this to me?
Yeah.
No, you don't understand. And it took me about 2.5 years of therapy to really sort stuff out.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I'm almost 5 years in, and I think I'm good now. I can start dating again. But, you know, if you add the abuse that I took from her on top of the brain damage, man, it was a long 5 years. And I learned some really hard lessons along the way. But the biggest lesson I learned of all, it was the hardest one to learn. It's acceptance, right?
Yeah, sure.
I'm not who I used to be. I can never go back to that person. I can't look back. I can only go forward. And I could take everything I learned and go forward. But you know what? It gets so easy to say, it is what it is. And boom. But it took a long time to accept it. Like I was just denial, grief, whatever. Anger. I just didn't accept shit. So now it just comes easy. Hell, man, my tacos get screwed up. I'm like, it is what it is.
Well, I'm sure, like, you know, given what I look at your Instagram and stuff, I'm sure you've got a lot to tell, and you can inspire a lot of people that have either been through the same thing to just never give up and try and pursue something that you enjoy. You know, like that's so. I mean, you seem like a really confident person as well, and I can completely understand where you've come from.
Well, dude, I mean, my career already got taken from me. My fiance got taken from me. I ain't got nothing else to lose. So I'm, you know, I'm all in, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, and I was involved in a lawsuit over everything. And man, 3.5 years of battling corporate lawyers that are like pit bulls, it ages you, man. And I'm glad I'm at the point where I can sit around, smoke some weed, space out, and like, oh man, this is what relaxation feels like. But it's a long, difficult road. And
yes,
you know, my YouTube channel has the traumatic brain injury video log. And I created that for multiple reasons. First of all, it was therapeutic for me to put my life all out there.
Yeah, sure.
Everything's out there. Like, I don't think there's one thing I haven't talked about. Everything. And it was very liberating for me to do that and therapeutic. But I wanted other TBI survivors to know, like, you know how my fiance abandoned me? My friends were vanished. I was all alone. I felt like I was on an island. And I want the people to find my video log. I want them to know they're not alone. There is someone who's walked a mile in their shoes.
Yeah.
And they can message me, do whatever they want. And people have, and I have heard some of the stuff that people have told me. They're in crisis. I'm like, I don't even know what to do. And, you know, I've learned from a lot of other TBI survivors that most of us, when we decide to shape, because when you lose your prior life, you go through this transition period, and it's different. It's a different length of time for everybody. Mine took like 4 years, right? You're in this transition period where you're not who you used to be, but you're not who you're meant to be yet. You're kind of figuring that shit out, right? And I lost the fucking thought, and it happens all the time. But you know, one of the things that me and other survivors do, most of us pick up altruism. We want to help other people.
Yeah.
Especially if we're disabled, because we don't have a job. We might as well do something. Might as well do something good.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's good.
So,
how's your YouTube channel doing?
My what?
How is your YouTube channel doing?
I've got like 4,000 subscribers.
Oh, nice.
So, it's interesting, you know. But I mean, you know, like I did my interview series. I capped it at 100, right? Yeah. And I did not accept anybody who asked me to be a guest. I searched out every single person to find. I dug in the cracks and crevices of social media, kicked under every rocks. That's where I found you at, man. And I found people who I thought I didn't know, but I thought they had a compelling story. That you got to remember, I am not just a triathlon content producer.
Yeah.
I do TBI stuff. You know, triathlon content producers, they only have triathlon subscribers, and they only want to see triathlon content. I don't have any rules. I can do whatever I want, and I got a diverse following. And that guest list roster of the 100 people, man, it's a motley crew. It's an eclectic bunch of people that if I threw those 100 people in a room and gave it an open bar, it'd be a fucking rager, man. Yeah. I have found some really good people. Like I had an NFL Super Bowl winning quarterback. Oh, nice. I got the guy who owns the Guinness Book of World Records for fastest mile with a stroller. I did searching because I wanted a good story, and I wanted to talk to people that no one else is talking to.
Yeah. So, no, I appreciate that.
And I appreciate every interview that I do because I learned something and I get a connection to those people. And it's, you know, even though I'm not getting paid to do this, it's worth it to me. And during COVID, I was stuck in the condo. You know, all my running friends abandoned me because they went with my ex. I didn't have any friends. So doing these interviews with people all over the globe, you know, it established that human connection for me. So it was, my neurologist said, this is really good for you. You got to keep doing this.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean,
the YouTube channel isn't going to last forever. I mean, I'm going to lose steam. So
it's a great thing. Just even for me now talking with you, it's really good to like hear your story and like obviously you've been through a lot of hard stuff like I have in the last few years with mental health and that kind of stuff. And it's just about talking, hearing stories and just, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I'm going to let you get to your afternoon. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you giving time. It was good for me. I hope it was good for you too.
Yeah, it's my anniversary today. So
go buy some flowers, dude. All right, take it easy, man.
I'll try. Nice to speak to you, Eric.
Bye.
See ya.